Hi, and welcome to Practice Insights, the channel dedicated to supporting independent consultants with tools and techniques to help win gigs and deliver client engagements. Now, our aim is to become a hub of valued resources for freelancers, interims and contractors by providing you with information on every aspect of consulting life, from setting up, finding work, delivering your assignments, and preparing for your retirement. So, if you are interested in consulting, then please do make sure to check us out. This video is episode 6 of our Consulting Essentials series, which provides short overviews of the most commonly used consulting tools. Now, the series is aimed at people who are newer to consulting, but it's also a quick way to refresh your memory if you're more experienced. And the subject of today's video is Porter's 5 Forces. So let's break that down together. As a professor at Harvard Business School, a young Michael Porter published work on competitive strategies, which identified 5 forces that influence the likely success and profitability of a business. Whereas models like PEST, see episode 5, looked at the macro market factors affecting industry over time, Porter's 5 forces looks at factors that are immediately impactful on revenue and profitability. Now, in doing so, he produced one of the first structured frameworks for analysing the competitive landscape of a market, industry, or sector. So, Porter's 5 forces are the rivalry between competitors within the industry, power of suppliers, power of customers, new market entrants, and the threat of substitutes. So these are posited as the key factors that will influence a company's ability to service customers and to make a profit. So if we break the model down a little, we can see that the 5 forces is a framework for analysing the competitive environment and therefore a way to determine the level of attractiveness of the industry in question. So let's see how this picture of attractiveness is created by looking at each of the 5 forces in turn. So internal rivalry between competitors. So as the name suggests, this force describes the nature of competition within a specific industry. Now, the competition of rivalries varies from industry to industry. Some sectors can be intensively competitive, so think airlines and supermarkets that emphasize price cutting, while other rivalries place the emphasis on brand and service. Think banks or professional service firms. Either way, what your analysis is seeking to provide here is a view of the attractiveness of an industry measured by the level of profitability of the companies within it. Now, Porter's model suggests that internal rivalry is shaped by a number of factors. These include the number of competitors, so the more numerous, the tougher the competition, market demand growth, so slower growth usually means tougher competition, and external pressures, which can include external bodies like governments, regulating authorities, and trade unions. The threat of new entrants. It should come as no surprise that profitable markets attract new market entrants, which can in turn decrease profitability for the remaining providers. However, it's not always easy or even possible to enter a new market. And the barriers to entry can include anything from asset and financial hurdles to technological and regulatory hurdles. For example, you can see why pharmaceutical and semiconductor sectors have very high and specific barriers to entry, while other industries like retail and hospitality have relatively low barriers to entry. Now, the threat of substitutes refers to the existence of products outside the immediate market but serving very similar needs, which makes it easy for a customer to switch to alternatives. A company's competitive position can be undermined by substitutes, and almost all products have some form of substitution. For example, bottled orange juice might be considered a substitute for Coke, whereas Pepsi is a competitor's similar product. People can switch from tea to coffee, from rail to air, from metal to plastic, from gas to solar. The easier it is for a customer to use a substitute, then the tougher the industry competition. In some instances, a substitution can have transformative impacts on the whole sector and industry. Look at the impact iTunes has had on traditional DVD and CD sales. Now, bargaining power of customers. The price customers pay for a product is heavily influenced by the strength of their negotiating position. Bigger customers like Tesco or Walmart have a much greater power to determine the price they will pay, especially if you're a significantly smaller business trying to sell through their channels. Many small and medium-sized enterprises find themselves in exactly this position, where they're dependent upon 1 or 2 customers for the bulk of their revenue. There are, however, many other sources of customer bargaining power, such as how large they are, how important they are, and how easy it is for them to switch between suppliers. More often than not, the greater the number of providers in a marketplace, the more choice the customer has, and the tougher the competition. Bargaining power of suppliers. So suppliers can have a huge influence on competitiveness. Think of rare earth minerals, oil, gas, or computer microchips. The scarcity and importance of products to your business could dramatically impact what you can expect to pay. The more bargaining power suppliers possess, the tougher competition will be in your sector. So the 5 forces framework can be used in a number of ways. You can use it to assess the attractiveness of a market if you are a new market entrant. You can use it to assess the market to determine if it's amenable to product substitutes or substitutes for services. You can use it to stimulate ideas about how to improve your firm's competitive position. And finally, you can use it to spot trends. Now, in episode 5, we provided a mock-up of the pest and SWOT models being used in conjunction with 5 forces. So check that out if you haven't already, as the macro factors captured by pest analysis provide valuable industry context for 5 forces. However, if you're using the 5 forces in isolation, then there are 4 steps in the analytic process. Step 1, define the scope of your analysis, so your specific sector target. Step 2, gather information to undertake your industry analysis. Step 3, identify the strategic groups active within your specific industry. And finally, step 4, identify your company's competitive position. Now, step 1 and step 2 will help you assess the attractiveness of the market, while step 3 and 4 are designed to help you determine your relative market position. So in step 1, you want to isolate those customer needs that are being met by your products or services, create a list of why customers buy from you, and use it to identify opportunities and threats. During step 2, you want to assess the relative strength of each player in the industry, so competitors, buyers, suppliers, substitutes, new entrants. Also identify any macro environmental trends that might impact these relationships in the future. The relative strength of these players is referred to as their bargaining power, which can be strong or weak. To help determine buyer power, ask yourself the following. What is the concentration of buyers? How big are these buyers, and what is their purchasing power? How important is cost, quality, or any other points of differentiation? Can buyers negotiate aggressively, or are substitutes readily available to buyers? Now ask yourself the following when considering the risk or opportunity of new products or new market entrants. What is the relative price and performance of existing products and their substitutes? Is there a cost associated with switching to substitutes? Do buyers often substitute? Are there economies of scale that enhance competitiveness? Do companies have unique differentiators that create real competitive advantage? Is brand and brand identity an important component of competition? Are distribution channels easily accessible to new entrants? Are there any government policies and regulations that restrict your movement in this area? To determine the level of market competition, think about the following. Is there a risk of reprisal from competitors if you enter or offer substitutes? How big or small are margins and profits? Are there significant differences between products and services offered by the companies in the industry or sector? What is the concentration of companies, and is there balance among them? How diverse are competitors? During step 3, you are seeking to identify companies that use similar competitive strategies. In general, strategic groups with fewer competitors have greater likelihood of earning higher profits. So you use the following domains to kind of catalog your thinking. First off, specialization, brand power, channel selection and channel power, product quality, technological or other forms of market leadership, vertical integration, cost, service quality, price. And finally, in step 4, you can profile competitors to determine your relative market position and develop strategies to respond accordingly. So what can we conclude about the 5 forces model? Well, firstly, it provides you with a framework you can use to complete analysis that will provide valuable inputs for your strategic planning. It will assist with new market entry planning or for SWOT assessing your current position within an industry. Like many of the tools in the Consulting Essentials series, the 5 forces model will provide more value when used in conjunction with other tools like SWOT and PEST. The 5 forces can be used flexibly and scale according to your own particular goals and circumstances. So, if you wished, you could use just 1 or 2 of the forces to focus the scope of your analysis. Keep the use of your tool focused, and remember that the use of the tool is not your end goal. You need to take the actual outputs from your analysis and use them to create your various strategies and implement your competitive capabilities. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you found this summary of Porter's 5 forces useful, then please hit the like button and consider subscribing, as we will be developing detailed step-by-step how-to video guides for each tool in the Consulting Essentials series. We'll also be running live sessions for subscribers that you can attend, where we will workshop Porter's 5 forces together in real time. Really hope to see you in the next video. Until then, happy consulting.